October 30, Sunday. So, alright, we're back October 30. Oh, so only Zachary so far had October 30. Now Beck will have one too. Okay. Of course, I'm not the sort to impose on him often, but the situation is still, well, it's not entirely bad, although it does require calling in a few favors from friends like him. Without his signature, I won't be able to gain access to the library restricted section. If I want to get more in-depth information on the Ermengarde Mansion, that is, not simply what they choose to show the general public. As much as I hate to admit it, there's almost something people concern censor. And whatever it is, I won't ever find it in the general section. It has to be what they're keeping here, beyond the public eye. The thought of that alone makes me antsy. Thankfully, I don't have to brood over it. To wait for the professionals that last long, and I will enjoy making people wait. Likewise, it is like people who are tardy. He arrives 5 minutes after I do, greeting me with that kind smiling casual wave of his hand. I haven't seen him in so long, but it appears he hasn't changed much. His familiar presence alone is enough for a fond smile to spread across my face.
Professor Andrew.
Rebecca, didn't I say long ago you can drop the professor?
You know I can't possibly do that. Even if I can, it feels disrespectful to call you by your name alone.
Both you and Ashton never listen to this old man. Kids these days.
All right, but just for today, since you're doing me a huge favor, Andrew.
I guess you simply can't have it all, even at this old age. But pleasantries aren't what we're here for, yes? You mentioned you needed a permit.
Yes, sir, if that's okay with you.
More than fine. Anything in pursuit of knowledge, as they say.
He hands me the permit without further prompting. And just like he promised, he's also written a recommendation after his signature. This is more than enough to get me to do those files. I mutter a small thanks for slipping it into my pocket. Although when I look back up, his brows are furrowed, the very face of curiosity. Not surprising, considering how vague I've been during our little talk over the phone. Right then and there, I decided to tell him if he ever asks. Maybe not all of it, but the stuff he needs to know. It's the least I can do to thank him. As expected, due to his inquisitive nature, he asks.
If you don't mind, though, I know you've always been an eager learner, but may I know what in the restricted section that piqued your curiosity?
It's the Ermengarde Mansion, sir.
The third one has come to you, sir. He's quick to raise an eyebrow at that, and for a while I fear he'll take the slip of paper back. Is there something in what I said?
The ones they have out in the general isn't enough?
I'm, hoping for a more in-depth read, sir. More about the history and the people who once lived there. The general section doesn't have anything much on that.
Oh, I see. Well, you certainly aren't the first one to be enamored with that place. It doesn't shock me. The architecture is admirable, and the urban legends are something to talk about. Why, just this past week, I've got a few asking me about that. Imagine that.
I think enamored might be a little too much to describe our interest in it. But I have to agree. The mansion is beautiful, even with the renovations. They kept the stained glass windows, too. They are magnificent.
Oh, you've seen it.
I was there for a few hours to attend a housewarming party. The invitation was for my parents, but they couldn't make it. My mum used to work as a private tutor for the Evans. Hannah Wright?
Ah, I know of her. Her husband, too. Who doesn't?
What is his beef, anyway?
Luxbourne's most popular couple.
Something falls behind his eyes. The warmth in them suddenly gone. Like he's living a painful, distant memory and seeing it play right in front of him. It disappears almost as soon as it surfaces, but that look has unsettled something in me.
Is something the matter?
Nothing much. But you know, you're already like a daughter to me. So if you could, do be careful with the friends you make.
Is this about the rights, sir?
Just a friendly advice from an old man. Don't think much about it. Anyway, I have to leave now. Can't miss my weekly serving of bear claws. Say hi to your parents at the detective inspector for me, will you? I wish you luck with all that research.
I will. Thanks for this, Andrew.
Andrew gives my shoulder a light squeeze. The gesture a younger me has always appreciated, and quickly cross the street after. I watch him until he disappears behind the door to the cafe, until the doubt swimming inside my head finds a moment to rest. Whatever his business is at the right isn't anything I should concern myself about. But somehow, in the grand scheme of things now, all of it feels oddly relevant. The how to, I've yet to find out. Yes, please, Becca, let's find out. And I'm hoping the library will give me the answer I want this time. On the gloomy Sunday morning, the library is especially empty. The second floor in particular. I've always considered this place to be a sanctuary, a respite away from the hubbub of the city. As a child, I grew up reading books here, spending hours here to no end, poring over the pages, living out fantasies in my head until my parents called me home. Now it feels nothing like it. The silence is smothering, suffocating, and even with how clean they've kept the micro-office room, how the entire small of it lacks a speck of dust or clutter, breathing is a struggle for air. Not far into my stay, I begin to long for the noise outside, and perhaps as a way to calm this unease, I start to hum a tune. Imagine that. My of all things, it has been that silly nursery rhyme. I've not an inkling. Okay, so singing that nursery rhyme is giving me goosebumps every single time. I know I say goosebumps a lot while I'm playing this game, but you do agree, don't you? It does its job, however. It fills the lull with something far less awkward, far less deafening, and that is enough for distraction. I have business here. No time for silly daydreams, only important work to attend to. Even if there's a possibility of it being fruitless, by some means, it feels like I have to do it. If not for me, then for the people who has been affected by this, what do you even call this? A haunting? A Halloween prank gone wrong? A curse? If Isabella were here, what would she say? Will she panic? Will she be angry I only listen to her now? It all stems from that one moment in the movie's house, doesn't it? We could have avoided this had we only taken her warnings to heart. One stupid mistake is all it took to send our normal lives on a downward spiral. Frankly, I'm no longer sure if I'm angry at myself for it, or at the universe for throwing us into this mess. But we can only make do of what little we have, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Going here might not be the right decision, but it's a
A
start.
good start.
It doesn't take much time for me to find what I need. A micro office of old newspapers, long kept in special storage cabinets at the far end of the restricted section. The year is 1620s and beyond, before the city of Luxbourne even exists in the records. The mansion has just been built, and Anselm is nothing more but a small, sleepy hamlet near a river. A lot of pieces are missing. Days, sometimes several consecutive weeks without any records remaining. Often it goes on for years. Troublesome. But as it is, I'm lucky enough to find anything at all considering how far I'm looking back. Can't be too picky now. Can't waste time mulling over what record keepers of the old could have done to make this a breeze for me.
I can still work with this.
The faint whir of the micro office machine keeps me company as I go over each slide, each image, hoping for something that goes beyond what the local law knows. There are snippets, little mentions of family that once settled in a house here and there, the usual singing of praises for the couple who helped brought up what was once a tiny settlement into a bustling town. Nothing substantial, nothing I didn't know before. It continues on like this for a good while, until I come by the years after their deaths. The people of Anstey might have loved Lord William and Lady Elizabeth Ermengarde, mourned their passing even, and held them in high esteem in the years after, but it was their daughter that was remembered fondly by the townspeople. If her parents built this town, Lady Charlotte was the one who made it prosper. Remarkable, considering it was a period of recovery from a bout of plague that killed half the town's population, including her parents. What's surprising, though, apparently her time also marked more than superficial changes to the place. Free at last, air puts a stop to local slave trade. This girl here, doesn't she look a bit like the girl that's hunting us? Hmm. She moved things, changed laws, altered old customs and traditions. If they were done on a woman's whimsy, it doesn't say, but she seems capable enough for more than that. The gist of it is the town she rebuilt. It's what eventually grew to become Luxbourne City, while the nearby Anselm village remained as it was, a relic of the old. A frown swiftly forms in my face.
So, why is there a need to hide this?
One by one, I try to recall every lesson I've gone through, every book, every paper, and journal I've read. None of those ever mentioned this. It's always the lord and the lady of the house, their endearing child, always an afterthought to those anecdotes. The one who always took her life in the end. Never someone who restored a town from the brink of collapse or brought new ideas to it. Is it because she's a woman?
That pisses me off.
Don't think it has to do with that at all. Granted, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. Not all aspects of her can be considered admirable, but this is history. Some parts are bound to naturally delve into unpleasant territory whether I like it or not. Witch hunts, for example, became common near the end of her life, which would have been completely remarkable and might have gone to become a mere footnote in history if it didn't involve Lady Charlotte and the very slave she saved. It caused quite a stir, enough to leave almost a week's worth of clippings. The girl was eventually burned, condemned by an entire town, and the word of Lady Charlotte alone. But this doesn't really have anything to do with the scares, does it? Oh, she really looks like the girl, doesn't she? Unless a woman following us and this slave are the same person. A tale of revenge? How cliche. However, with the lack of accurate photographs, it's impossible to tell. Maybe if I squint the illustration would start resembling her? But I might feel it doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. I'll be the laughingstock of the community.
This isn't going anywhere.
Mentally exhausted, I take a careful step away from the screen, pressing a hand palm to my tired eyes. The lack of ample lights in this area doesn't help. A headache already threatens to form in the back of my head, yet I'm nowhere near figuring things out. This is simply too much to take in all at once.
I should have asked for someone's help.
Why would she have? Why would she have? Her slave she saved accused of witchcraft. I'm at a dead end. I start gathering everything around me and placing them back in their respective envelopes for storage. The motion's no longer new after volunteering here a number of times. I didn't make much mess. Anyway, because in a lack of materials available to begin with. I'll have to look somewhere else. to where remains unknown, so. But just as I'm about to slip the last of the slides in, something catches my attention. My hand passes the microfiche halfway through its protective sleeve. This one of the few I set aside without taking a careful look at. It seems like a gossip column at first glance, but upon closer look, I slide back to the reader, turning the dials in search of the page. It takes some time, but once the image becomes clear, they must have had this drawing commissioned for this announcement. I don't doubt it. The details are far more intricate, their likeness likely close to how they might have appeared at the time. They're both recognizably this way, close to those paintings I've seen in the mansion. However, it's the man standing beside her, Edward Godfrey, according to the article, that caught my attention previously. Her first cousin and eventually her fiancé. Maybe it's the posture, the manner in which he holds himself, or maybe it's the shape of his eyes, though I can't be too certain about that until I've gotten a better reference. Nevertheless, there is a resemblance. He looks eerie like. My head snaps up, glowing at whoever's running in the floor above. Any day I'd march upstairs and implement whoever it is.
This is a library, for heaven's sake.
But now it isn't the time. I've got what I need. Without wasting another minute, I hit the machine print button for a copy of the page. My other hand moves to put everything back in the storage. A ragged exhale slips from me. Exhale, sorry. Relief, perhaps? Or maybe this is already exhaustion. Regardless, soon I'm closing my eyes as I wait for the printer to finish. If only to stave off a headache building up from everything. I really don't get a good feeling when hearing that song. Sometime I've even began humming the same song again for comfort. Despite my doubts about this, despite all the tension in my shoulders, this may be a small find, but at least I can start somewhere. We can start somewhere. There's a way out of this. I know it. The printer sputters to a halt. However, its sounds isn't what makes me snap my eyes open. A feeling, a chilly brush of air behind my back. Brief enough for something sickening, something lodge itself in my throat while taking my surroundings. It's that suffocating sensation again, creeping to every part of me, crawling under my skin, draining me little by little of any strength. From that day in the mansion, from that brief moment at school, without delay I grab the papers and make a quick beeline for the door. Jesus! Alright, so sorry again. Oh, bloody hell, you scared the God of me, woman! My whole body freezes.
What are you doing, Miss Pink?
I hold my breath, not daring to make any noise. For a little while, only the sound of papers scrambling on my grasp fills the room. The excitement from earlier gone instantly, replaced by a cold, seeping dread running throughout my limbs. But more than the fear is the anger. It pains me to hear her using my own student's voice against me, and more than once I believe it was really her. She has no right.
Why don't you play with me?
Although she hasn't made a move. If there isn't a wall behind me, I'll probably take a step back. Anything to put a distance between us, no matter how small, as long as I'm out of her reach. But I steel myself, because I do fall back, turn away from her, I'd be left with no way out. I am not dying here.
You think you scare me?
Miss Pink, don't be so rude. I'm waiting.
I'm
Right.
afraid of you, you spook! This is one Scotswoman. You aren't getting into an early grave without a fight! Come at me!
I expected she'd lunch, prove to me what a monster she is. Instead, all she gives me is a smile, twisted and gnawed, as if time has crawled to stop at the sight of it. A split-second decision, and before I know it, my body shifts. Eyes closing in anticipation, hand grabbing whatever solid enough of nearby table and hurling at her. I don't bother looking if whatever I drew hit its mark. I won! As fast as my legs can carry me, despite my heart threatening to burst out of my chest. But in this maze of bookshelves, with the whole place almost void of people, is there even a place safe enough I can escape to? Cover the doors, dude. Doors. If there's one, it is out of this room, out of this place, as far away as anyone can get from her. I can think about the rest of what I can do after I'm inside. When there are other people, I can ask for help. When she's not chasing after me like this, there's no hesitation in my steps as I race for the restricted section door, head downstairs, and bell straight for the library exit. Towards safety, in desperate bid for my life. Library rules be damned! I can no longer hear her behind me, but I'm not taking any chances. A breath almost escapes me as I near the door. A little more! Come on, come on! And out of nowhere, a library cart careens from a blind corner and slams on my sides. Oh, God. My back hits the floor with a hard thud, demon completely knocking the breath out of me. The copper tang of blood badly spread on my tongue as I fight to get my bearings back. I force myself to move, even the excruciating pain coursing through my limbs. The exit's almost there, if only I can. Come on, come on. But there's no moment's respite. The next thing I know, there's a heavy weight atop me. A cold digit slide around my neck, tight like a vice, pressing, closing in, leaving me gasping for air. Let go of her! Through my blurred vision, I can only make out a hateful gleam. The spine in her eyes as she looms on my body and the grip on my throat grows tighter. Desperation kicks in. My nails dig into his wrists as I struggle against the firm grip, trying to pry her fingers away. Come on, Becca, fight!
Let me go!
Keep the slider within the green bar by moving the mouse in the arrow direction. No? I want to do it again. Alright, so game over. Let's try again, yeah? What do I do? So keep the slider within the green bar by moving the mouse in the arrow's direction. Alright, we did it now. I don't think twice. My limbs are moving on their own before what I did could fully register my brain, and my lungs could recover. Behind me she lets out a cry, sharp, loud, and thunderous against the empty walls of the library. But the fear her wails brings compares nothing to the relief washing over me when I finally make it out. Hallelujah! Alright, so it took us 2 times, but she's safe. Ooh. My knees buckle as soon as my feet hit the pavement. Its surface is cold and hard against my skin. I've only been in there for a few hours, but 1 or 2 probably. I don't know anymore. It feels like an eternity all the same. My breathing hasn't slowed down yet, and I don't expect it to after going through that. I probably look the most undignified creature on a Sunday morning right now. Out of breath, disheveled, slumped here with a bloody lip and all. But at present, I simply can't bring myself to care, even a few passersby starts giving me strange looks. Stare at me all you want, I don't give a single shite! I am alive. I'm safe. This isn't the end yet. But I'm safe. And inside my bag is something that could get us out of this mess. Nothing defined yet. Nothing definite yet. I don't want to get my hopes up, but it's still something. If Isabella's here, I'm sure she'll feel the same. She'll even be the first one who'll put her fate on it. Wherever it is will lead us to is a victory on its own. Now, all that's left is to find the others. The rest of us trapped in this bloody nightmare. Right on cue, as if an answer to my previous thought, my mobile phone lets out a beep. I pick it up, simply hoping it'll be one of them. Only it's a voicemail, that greets me from Ashton. There's a pang of disappointment, of course, but it brings some reassurance that nothing happened to at least one of them.
Hey, Becca, call me back when you're free. We need to talk. ASAP.
He ends it right there. The message less than a minute long. Curt and gives nothing away. Let it ease my worries, regardless, and do as he asks. Because this is too is another triumph of us. One less thing to worry about. She really gave me a big scare. Ah. But okay, guys, not bad. It was really hard with the mouse to get it all together. But we did it. She did. And now it's the long awaited time for Ashton. That's going to be another time. But I'm really looking forward to his story. I hope you are too. See you then.